Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable dignitaries, esteemed faculty members, respected colleagues and dear students. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I, Dr. Rabia Anis, Assistant Professor in the Department of Medical Education, LUMS, and member of the organizing committee of this conference, feel honored to address this gathering. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the annual International Conference of Health Professions Education at Liaquat University of Medical and Health Sciences. Today, we embark on a journey of innovation, collaboration, and transformation. This conference serves as a platform for educators, clinicians, and scholars to share their insights. Let us start this conference with the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful. For that, I would like to invite Mr. Muhammad Tayyab to recite a few verses from the Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. Translation. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Allah does not obligate anyone beyond his capacity. For him is what he has earned, and on him what he has incurred. Our Lord, do not hold us accountable if we forget or make a mistake. Our Lord, do not place on us a burden such as you have placed on those before us. And our Lord, do not make us bear that for which we have no strength, and pardon us and grant us forgiveness, and have mercy on us. You are our Lord. Help us then against the disbelieving people. Sadaqallahul Azim.
Jazakallah khair. Now, I request everyone to kindly rise for the national anthem.
Amen.
Thank you, everyone. Let's take a moment of silence to honor the sacrifices made by those in the healthcare profession and to stand in solidarity with the resilience and struggles of the people of Palestine and Kashmir. Due to some technical issue, the program is little delayed. We apologize for that. So we are skipping the inaugural session and directly moving towards the plenary session. Now, I would like to request Chairman of the conference, Professor Munawwar Alam Ansari, to kindly escort our chief guest, Vice Chancellor Professor Ikramdeen Ujjan, our guest of honor, Pro Vice Chancellor Dr. Seema Nisa Morai, and the Secretary of the conference, Dr. Hudaybia Labaksh, to stage for the session. Now, I would like to call Dr. Nazia Mumtaz to moderate the plenary session 1. So technology is beyond our control, so yeah, that's dodging us. So we are trying to fix it and apologize for that.
Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to everyone. I welcome you all to today's annual International Conference of Health Professions Education at LUMS. I am Dr. Nazia Mumtaz and I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Pathology LUMS. And I am really honored to be the moderator for our first plenary session of today. So without further delay, I would like to call the chair and co-chair of our session. Please welcome the chair, Professor Dr. Ranomal Piryani, and co-chair, Professor Dr. Shazia Memon, to please join us on stage. Before commencing the session, I would like to share that question and answer session will be at the end of this session. Let me introduce our first keynote speaker for today. We are honored to have here Dr. Mukhtar Beg. He is a medical educationist and a professor of clinical biochemistry. And he also serving as the Director of Assessment, Faculty of Medicine, King Abdul Aziz University. Sir, please kindly come to the stage and share your presentation with us.
Sir, this is working from here. Sir, it's working from here.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, that's good. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, I am thankful to the organizers for inviting me. Actually, this is my alma mater. I graduated from LMC in 1992-93 batch, and I am glad that after almost 30 years, I am visiting Jamshoro. So I am very happy. I am very happy to see the development and progress in my alma mater. So, and I'm also thankful to Mr. Waqar Beg from Farm Evo for facilitating my visit from Karachi to here. So today you can see the title of my talk. Okay. So one of the CEO of Google Mind Map, he said that AI has the potential to be one of the most important and beneficial technologies ever invented. This, okay, no, okay, fine. This ever invented is very important. So, from the beginning to this century, this is one of the most important and beneficial technologies. So we will see what has it been done in medical education and in healthcare industry. Why technology is used in medical education and healthcare industry? Actually, AI and machine learning has revolutionized all industries, and medical education is no exception. With the help of AI, the medical education and healthcare has become more efficient and effective. So this is very well said by McCollum that education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare it for today. Technologies, especially the AI and machine learning, they are improving in learning outcomes in medical education. They are also improving patient care and operational efficiency. I'll give you several examples in this presentation. And it also enhances accessibility because the content, they are available anytime, anywhere. It enhances the students' engagement, and it also improves efficiency and quality of care. There are few terminologies which are commonly used when we talk about the technology used in medical education and healthcare, like AI, natural language processing, machine learning, and deep learning. There are few differences, but as we are focusing on their use in medical education and healthcare, so we are not going in the detail of technical information about these. Yes. Now we will discuss AI innovations in clinical medicine. As my great teacher, Professor Feroz Mehman, is sitting in front of me, and the first slide is related to his field. As you know, previously, even now, we are using this 12-lead ECG. But after innovation of AI and machine learning, the scientists, they have developed AI ECG enabled stethoscope. You will just put the stethoscope and it will give the ECG on your smartphone, even on the back of this stethoscope as well. And it has 3 leads. And FDA has approved this stethoscope. After the invention of this 3-lead ECG-enabled stethoscope, a team in Imperial College London, they have invented single-lead stethoscope. Now that single-lead ECG-enabled stethoscope, they are using. Recently, article published about this. You can see this published in Lancet, very prestigious journal, Lancet Digital Public Health Journal, Digital Health Journal. And this single-lead ECG-enabled stethoscope is useful in detecting heart failure with an ejection fraction of 40% or lower, with high sensitivity and specificity. So this would be very, very useful for non-invasive workload adapted point of care screening for earlier diagnosis and prognostically beneficial treatment for heart failure. Now we can screen community on larger scale with this inexpensive device. You don't need to take the ECG machine and extra time. With this device, we can screen large community for the heart failure, for finding their ejection fraction. And recently the FDA also approved this ECG-enabled stethoscope. Details, if you want to see the detail, then you can read this article, very interesting, and recently published. Another very, very interesting, this research published in Scientific Reports. This journal is published by the Nature Publication Group. And this is about the detection of Parkinson's disease. And this study showed that efficacy of machine learning and deep learning techniques in accurately identifying Parkinson's disease from the voice signal. Very interesting and very amazing that with the help of voice signal, now they are able to detect Parkinson's disease. And you can see the accuracy of this, 95 to 99% accuracy. So again, this invention would be very useful for the early detection of Parkinson's disease and its interventional options. This is again very interesting. A coronavirus diagnosing using cough sounds with the help of artificial intelligence. In our brotherly country, Iran, our researcher groups in 2021, they collected cough sounds from the 42,000 COVID-19 positive subjects, and by using different AI tools, they were able to diagnose just with the help of cough sound that patient is COVID-19 positive or not. And again, for the details, you can read this article, which is published in Frontier Artificial Intelligence. Another study about the detection of survival in lung cancer patients. This study published in Nature Medicine. In this recent phase 3 randomized clinical trial, a team used circulating tumor DNA matrix to predict overall survival and pain-free survival patterns in patients with non-small cell lung cancer, and this assessed in early prediction trial outcomes. So again, very amazing use of AI technology. Now, the use of AI technology in imaging, in radiology. AI technology has been proven very, very beneficial in imaging techniques. Even if we read the literature, there are several studies have been published from the European countries. There the radiology residents and fellows, they are very much worried about their future because of the so much involvement of AI and more accuracy in AI reports about the imaging. There are several applications, link is there, and they help in diagnosing and detecting the disease, writing the report about the radiology, about MRI, about CT scan. And you know, like GPT, ChatGPT we all are using, GPT means generative pre-trained transformer. In generative pre-trained transformer, what we do, we expose that tool to lot of documents, and then with the help of that memory, it replies to our prompts. Whatever prompts we write on ChatGPT, it replies by scanning those documents which we have exposed. Now there are several GPT which are also using the real-time information. So in the same way, this artificial intelligence tool was exposed to 4.2 million chest X-rays. Just imagine, 4.2 million chest X-rays. And when you put any X-ray, it scans those things and it gives almost 100% accurate reporting about the chest X-ray. Even several things, several rare problems which were ignored by the radiologist, this AI tool is successfully pointing out those rare problems as well. I'll show you this study published in Scientific Reports, differential diagnosis of common etiology of left ventricular hypertrophy. In differentiating between various etiology of left ventricular hypertrophy, AI overall diagnostic accuracy was substantially greater than that of the echocardiography experts. Very surprising. The AI accuracy was greater than echocardiographer experts. Another very interesting paper published in Radiology Journal, very prestigious journal in the field of radiology. If any radiologist is here, he or she must know this journal. AI system performed better than radiology residents, general radiologists, and neuroradiologist fellows in generating the top 3 accurate differential diagnosis on brain MRI. So again, the AI tools, they are beating the experts. This is another important invention. It is known as SettleGet AI powered for safer MRI. As we all know that for MRI, sometimes we use contrast media. With the help of this AI tool, the dose of that contrast media will be reduced 90%. Suppose you were using 10 ml. Now with the help of this AI tool, there is requirement of just 1 ml. So cost saving as well, and it gives better image quality, diagnostic accuracy, and the lesions detectability is more with the help of this AI tool. It is under investigation, but hopefully within few years it will come in the market. Use of AI in pathology. Maybe many pathologists sitting here. The computational decision support system for pathology provided accurate image classification and categorization of various neoplasms, including prostate cancer, basal cell carcinoma, and breast malignancy. So this AI tool is so accurate. Its accuracy almost equal to the pathologist in classifying these different type of cancers. Again, very interesting, when we were a student, we spent lot of time in history taking. Now AI has invented several applications, several platforms which have made the life of students very easy. Now this DEX Copilot, it is also launched by the Microsoft. It is a software platform which has the ability to capture patient-clinician conversation and transcribe it into comprehensive clinical notes. Now just doctor would talk with the patient, and with your smartphone, automatically the history, the sign symptom, and whatever treatment that patient is taking, it will be, the voice will be converted into transcription, and it will be in the written form. And that software is directly linked with the electronic health record of your hospital. So automatically that history will be shifted to electronic health record of that patient if that hospital or that setup has electronic health record systems. So this is very amazing. It will help in identifying the relevant information like clinical features, treatment options, everything is there. And just after reviewing that history, even there are options available you can modify that history on that software. नेट काम कर रहा है क्या? अगर हम ये चलाना चाहें, हाँ ये देखें चल रहा है यार, इसको जरा सा ये जो ये चल रहा है, नेट चल रहा है. यस यस. Yes, this is just 1 minute video. इस पे क्यों नहीं चल रहा?
This addition to the Dragon family improved patient DAX Copilot is your AI assistant for automated clinical documentation and workflows. This addition to the Dragon family to increase clinician satisfaction, improve patient experiences, boost operational efficiencies, and achieve financial outcomes across specialties. Part of Microsoft Cloud for Healthcare, this industry-first solution combines proven conversational and ambient AI with the most capable generative AI. Using a secure app or supported EHR mobile app, DAX Copilot captures the complete patient story and converts multi-party conversations into structured, specialty-specific clinical summaries that are immediately available for review and editing. Clinicians can view and access all available clinical summaries in the app or directly in the EHR. Beyond notes, DAX Copilot's advanced AI capabilities enable clinicians to save time performing everyday tasks to customize and summarize content and transform it into multiple outputs. As part of the Microsoft Cloud, DAX is delivered through a trusted, reliable infrastructure and global platform, guided by an established, responsible AI framework and core set of principles. It's secure, flexible, and scalable, and the results speak for themselves. Better work-life balance, higher job satisfaction, greater documentation quality, and more focused, personable, and conversational patient visits. More capable, more comprehensive, more than AI notes.
So we can see that how AI is changing medical education and healthcare sector. Now there are clinical decision support system, and one of the most important clinical decision support system is invented by IBM, the famous IBM. They have invented this application, this platform, IBM Watson for oncology. Lot of literature has been published about this. It provides evidence-based treatment recommendation for cancer patients. And one study indicates that, not only one but several studies, a high consistency was found between decisions made by WHO and multidisciplinary teams in most cancers. If the multidisciplinary team, their decision is equal to or at par with this WHO. So what will happen in future? And most important thing, lower human-made error rate in chemotherapy drug regimen selection. In Watson for oncology app, the human error rate was very lower, while the treatment regimen selection was equal to the team of the expert. And this is globally is being used. AI in prognosis and outcome prediction, there are several things. Because time is short, so we are moving. AI in research. AI is also revolutionizing research, especially most of the clinicians are here. So we will discuss this point. There are these two applications, which is one is known as Deep 6 AI and other is known as Medidata AI. These are actually the clinical trial recruitment platform, Deep 6 AI, and the Medidata AI. This is the clinical trial management platform, and they are linked with the hospital electronic health record. They select patient from that health record for you according to your inclusion-exclusion criteria, and they will help a lot for your clinical trials. Now, what are the challenges in adopting this technology? Number one thing is the cost. As we were discussing earlier, for adopting these technologies, the cost, there is a significant cost is required for purchasing and maintaining those technologies. In this regard, how to overcome this challenge? We can take help from the pharmaceutical companies, we can take help from the alumni, from the local or the international alumni who are working outside. They can contribute significantly for buying and purchasing these AI tools for the medical education, for the teaching, and for the hospital setups. Digital literacy, this is very important. You have all the setups, all the equipment, but your faculty is not able to use. So digital literacy among the faculty, administrative staff, and the students is very, very important. In this case, we can organize regular seminars, workshops for making our faculty aware about the recent advancement in AI field, in technology field. Then resistance, yes, there is always resistance. The people who are using the conventional technology are the people that don't want to come out of their comfort zone. So whenever new technology, there is resistance. So by arranging regular seminars, workshops, webinars, we can decrease this resistance level. And the ethics, whenever we are using AI tools, the ethical issues are there because a lot of patients' data is available, their privacy, their security of that data, these are ethical issues which you have to concentrate, which you have to take consideration when you are using AI tools. We are just finishing. The institutional responsibilities. There is very well quotation like, the best way to predict the future is to create it. So in this way, the first institutional responsibility is to building digital infrastructure. In infrastructure, definitely we need some physical structure. Another thing, we also need the expert people. We should recruit at least 1 or 2 people who have some degree in the AI, some machine learning. We can establish one AI and machine learning unit at our university. So you will be among the few who have the AI and machine learning unit in your university, and which can work on developing small software. Those software will not only be used in your university, even you can sell out those software. You can export those software. So I would suggest that you should establish at a small level, AI and machine learning unit where the interested people can cooperate, hire one qualified person, and then later on develop that. Training and capacity building, definitely we discussed. We need to arrange seminar on regular basis. We also need to send our people for attending the workshop, for attending the courses, for attending webinar. Ethical guidelines. We must develop ethical guidelines for using the AI tools. This is very, very important. Now, data privacy and security. Whenever we are using AI tool, we must ensure that data privacy of the patients and the student should be secure. Fostering research and development. Yes, your research unit should fund the projects which are related with the AI. We should also apply to a higher education. We also apply to some international bodies who fund such type of research. Yes, so you need to start some AI-related research projects. Regulation and governance. Definitely, you need to regulate the application and implementation of these AI tools and machine learning in your university. Collaboration with global stakeholders. Collaboration is very, very important. If you are not collaborating with the global, at least you can collaborate at local level. You can collaborate, suppose for King Edward University, you can collaborate from DMC. So collaboration, very important. You will share your experiences, you will share your expertise, and definitely both sides will get the mutual benefit. And then continuous evaluation and adaptation. You must evaluate the success of that technology. You must take the feedback from the stakeholder. And if there is need, then you need to modify your strategies. And the last one is a take-home message. Now, all over the world, there is fear that AI will, because of the AI, they will lose their job. Yes, this is true. To some extent, in several industries, people are losing their job because of AI. But at present, in medical field, at present, there is nothing to worry. But maybe in future, there would be problem for the doctors as well. So my take-home message is that AI will not replace doctors, but doctors who use AI will replace those who don't use. So try to become expert, not at expert, but try to try to have know-how about the AI tools. They are very, very important, and they have become the integral part of medical education and healthcare. These are the few references, and thank you very much. Sorry.
Thank you so much for such an interesting talk, Professor Dr. Mukhtiar Bey. It is said that learning is not limited to classroom, but it's a lifelong journey. I'm sure you all will agree to this. We all are at different stages of our career, but we all are still learning. So moving on to our second speaker for today, Professor Dr. Ravi Shankar. He will be joining us online from Malaysia. He is working as an associate professor in International Medical University, Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. Since he will be joining us online, it will take a few moments. So meanwhile, let me give you a glimpse into our conference. Our conference began with a series of pre-conference workshops, followed by specialized master classes that was conducted yesterday. We have scientific sessions today, followed by free paper presentations. And we will continue this intellectual journey tomorrow as well, and there will be poster presentations. Hello, Sir, can you hear us? Professor Dr. Ravi Shankar. Sir, please unmute your mic.
इंट्रोड्यूस करा दें इनको इनकी citations पर
So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our second keynote speaker for today's session, Professor Dr. Ravi Shankar.
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Ninja system here.
Thank you so much. I'll start my presentation educating tomorrow's health professionals. So I did take help from a large language model to create parts of this presentation. So that's my Google Scholar and my LinkedIn profile. So let's look at the generation we are teaching. So this particular slide shows the different generations we are having. We'll be mainly teaching Gen Z or the centennials. So that's the group which we are mainly teaching, because this might be, these students might be, say, around 19 to 20 years, and they are the ones coming to medical school. We might soon have Generation Alpha, also called as teenagers. Yeah? So this Generation Z, or the centennials, and Generation Alpha share a lot of similarities. So let's see whether this will work. I'm not sure whether it's working. If it doesn't work, then it's fine. I'm trying to have an audience interaction. I think it doesn't work often. Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't, but that's okay. So let me move forward. So characteristics of Generation Z and Alpha. This is important for us to know, because when we are teaching this group of students, we should be aware of their important characteristics. So these people are the digital natives. They grew up with technology, with maybe a tablet or a laptop or a computer. They're diverse and inclusive. They're well connected, like they're always connected through multiple devices. So they don't know a world where connection was not possible. They're more of visual learners, and they prefer to learn visually. So this also has implications for us when we design our courses. They're motivated by quantifiable measures like number of likes, scores, ranking. That's why sometimes gamification of education may be an important way to teach these students, because they're very much used to gaming as a creative outlet. And they use gaming, and they usually interact through technology. So even though they might not really interact in the real world, they interact more through technology. So that again is another characteristic of this group of learners. And they're very much globally minded. So that again is something which is important. So key transformation drivers in healthcare, before I go into the challenges and how we can prepare students for these challenges, we will talk about technological acceleration. Technology is always increasing, and technology is accelerating. We are connected globally. Say I'm delivering this speech or this presentation to you from Malaysia. So you had speakers from multiple places joining you for the particular conference online. There are major climate and environmental changes which I'll talk about. Demographic shifts, mainly the aging of the population. Even in countries with young populations like those in South Asia, there still is an aging of the population. And patient expectations are changing, and patient expectations are evolving. So based on this, the 6 major challenges I'll touch on is one is climate change. The second one is artificial intelligence. The third one is aging population and chronic disease management. Fourth one is global pandemic preparedness. We just recovered from the COVID-19 pandemic here, and that had a serious impact in all countries. I'll talk about mental health and technological impact, and precision medicine and genetic technologies. So see, these are the 6 challenges for us as medical teachers. There are of course many others, but these are the ones I have chosen. So let's move forward with them. So climate change, as you're well aware, climate change is a major problem. Remember, you have the recent floods in Pakistan and so many other places, increased global temperature, extreme weather, precipitation extremes like what you had in Pakistan and many other places, rising sea levels. So there will be air and water pollution, which also is happening, reduced food and water quality. Infectious diseases will change, and we have more allergens and we got more respiratory diseases. So more heat-related illness, cardiovascular diseases, injuries and death. So all these are problems which can happen, health impacts of climate change, major ones, and we need to have our students ready to tackle these challenges. Because as doctors and as healthcare professionals, they will play an important role in responding to these challenges. So, about 250,000 additional deaths annually due to climate change over the next 2 decades. Increased cardiovascular and respiratory diseases, and especially for the marginalized groups. We'll look shortly at the marginalized groups. So the marginalized groups will have much more impact of climate change. So let's look at these groups. So indigenous populations, many countries, indigenous populations face more challenges compared to other people. And climate change can have a serious impact on this group of people. Marginalized communities like low-income communities. So these people lack the resources to adapt. They're more susceptible to health impacts of climate change. Children, women, and the elderly are particularly vulnerable. And climate-related stresses, so there are significant health threats for these groups. So climate change can affect multiple populations, but these are some populations at higher risk due to climate change. So intervention strategies, what we can do, climate health specialization tracks, if possible. Climate change requires interdisciplinary research by healthcare professionals along with the engineers, architects, maybe the people from management, and some mandatory coursework on environmental epidemiology, planetary health, disaster medicine, among others. The second major challenge we have is artificial intelligence. It's a challenge and it's something which will change a lot of things, as you may be well aware. So advancements in diagnostic accuracy. So AI diagnostic tools show very good accuracy compared to human capabilities, and they significantly can enhance early disease detection. And this can lead to more timely interventions. So AI has a significant impact, or will have a significant impact in medicine. So diagnostic imaging, predictive disease modeling, AI can predict people at increased risk for various diseases and can lead to more proactive patient care. Personalized treatment, so it can improve patient outcomes by tailoring therapy to individuals. Efficacy and remote monitoring, so patients can be tracked remotely. Remember, many of us may have various devices which collect data, maybe our activity trackers. And that could be one example. Monitors steps, heart rate, maybe pulse rate, maybe respiratory rate, and sends it all to an app. This can enhance chronic disease management. So education strategies, so as doctors, as our medical students should have the framework to assess AI tools. they should be able to decide whether a particular AI tool is worthwhile to be introduced in a hospital or in a clinic. And we need AI-focused courses in the curriculum, prepare future practitioners. One of the challenges is this requires close collaboration between the computer scientists and healthcare professionals, healthcare faculty. As we may not have the expertise in AI and large data handling. The computer science faculty may not have the expertise in health and disease. So AI-assisted simulations, interdisciplinary projects, so our students work together with computer science students. And a major role for doctors and healthcare students is we have to decide what ethical problems artificial intelligence can bring in healthcare and how we can tackle these challenges. So what guidelines can we formulate for these challenges? The third major challenge is an aging population. So this is something which is happening. Maybe the percentage is low in some countries, but still in many countries the population has already aged. So let's look at this challenge now. Again, unfortunately, it doesn't work. That's okay. So this is unprecedented. By the year 2050, 1 in 6 individuals will be over the age of 65. If we look at the global picture, and this aging population will see a rise in age-related chronic conditions. Some of this we'll look at shortly, and this will require new approaches in management. So let's look at this. And so geriatric education, so geriatric medicine is something we might have to stress. Comprehensive gerontological competencies so that future doctors can manage the aging population, the health needs of the aging population. And this will also emphasize communication skills and interdisciplinary care. So the doctors, medical professionals will have to work together with other healthcare professionals and even other professionals outside medicine to provide quality care to them. So simulation, immersive aid. So this, many of us do not know what are the exact challenges faced older patients. So if we put them in a simulation, they can actually know what it means to have reduced vision, reduced hearing. And it's important we have interprofessional collaboration. We prepare students for interprofessional collaboration and we provide more of a longitudinal care. I think this is also very much there in the curriculum. So many times there are longitudinal clerkships. Many of all countries follow patients or they follow families longitudinally during the course of their MBBS program. So by the year 2030, around 16% of the global population will be over 65. And by the year 2050, this will be about 25%. And this will have major policy implications. In some countries, it will be more. Other countries, it will be less. But the aging of the population is something we have to be ready for. So increase in diabetes, increase in heart disease, increase in Alzheimer's, increase in chronic respiratory conditions. So diabetes is a major problem in South Asia. I was reading some theses from Pakistan, so it's a major problem in Pakistan as far as I know. The fourth challenge is how to prepare for global pandemics. We just recovered from COVID-19, but pandemics are more likely. One is because our global population is still increasing. There is loss of habitat, so there will be greater contact and conflict between animals and humans, increasing urbanization, increasing population density. So we should be ready for pandemics. So how do we prepare healthcare professionals to respond quickly to pandemics? So scenario-based training, specialized curriculum. So we should be able to respond well to pandemics. We should have the epidemiological models. We should have the communication protocols. We should be able to share data quickly among different people. So healthcare coordination, you have to collaborate across borders, cross-border, within regions, and international simulation, global pandemics like COVID-19 require an international response. So some aspects, we responded well for COVID-19. For the others, we did not respond very well. So let's look at the challenge number 5, mental health. So there will be increasing global mental health challenges. And one of the things, especially in developing countries in South Asia, is we've got a shortage of mental health personnel. We've got a serious shortage of psychiatrists. We've got a shortage of psychologists. We do not have enough people to take care of the existing population. So increasing mental health problems can cause much more issues. And we have emerging treatment modalities. Technology can bring about a lot of psychological problems. And many of you may be aware of the issue of burnout among both students, faculty, and other people. Burnout has multiple causes. Burnout is not something I will go into in much detail, but burnout is something which is very much real. And as faculty and as doctors, we have to be ready to tackle burnout. So burnout is another of the issue we have to be aware of. So digital wellness assessment, telehealth. So telehealth came very much in the picture due to COVID-19. Telehealth has now become an accepted method of medicine. I don't know how it's in different places, but in many places, telehealth is more accepted. People can get addicted to technology. I remember there's an internet addiction disorder. People are addicted to their screens and to their devices. And how to create resilient healthcare professionals. So as teachers, as medical school faculty, we should create doctors who are resilient and doctors who can work well in different settings. Whatever the challenges, these doctors will be able to work well. So that's our move. So digital psychology, mental health technology assessment framework. So many of these are already there. One of the challenges is, which we'll talk about, is we got a curriculum which is quite heavy. And what do we do with introducing new courses? So technological impact analysis and take holistic wellness, so not just from Western medicine. We also use some of the techniques of medicine which are indigenous to our countries and our regions and see how this can be incorporated so that we have holistic wellness among both students and among practitioners. The last challenge I'll be talking about is precision medicine and genetic technologies. So personalized medicine, where we personalize medicine based mainly on the genetic profile. I think many of you are aware of this. So different genetic profile can influence maybe the metabolism of medicines, maybe the delivery of medicines, how medicine will act in a particular individual. So this is something which we're taking into. And a genetic profile mapping is well underway. Most countries not. So it was expected that on a smartphone you will also have a genetic profile, your personal genetic profile. And treatment and medications can be then tailored to a genetic profile. Not yet fully come, it's well in the pipeline. How do we make ethical decisions with regard to genetics? Suppose we want to do genetic modifications. Yeah? What advice can we give for both, say, somatic cells and germ cells? How do we design personalized treatment using genetics? And doctors should be able to counsel people about genetics, genetic problems, what happens to a particular group of individuals marry and there are some genetic issues. What advice can you give? Genetic profile interpretation. So this is something students should be trained on. Ethical genomic decision making and personalized medicine. So how do we tailor treatment based on the genetic profile of a particular person? So that again is something you will have to work on, or the students will have to be taught. So challenges. So looking at these 6 months, there are also challenges in our medical schools and in our medical curriculum. So our curriculum is overcrowded. We'll try and look at this shortly in more detail. And Our faculty might need new skills. Yeah, already it's a challenge for faculty to stay abreast of recent developments. We need to collaborate with other disciplines, both within medicine and outside of medicine. And that, again, may not be that easy. Medical students are changing. A major change is medicine is becoming increasingly feminized. The number of female medical students, number of female doctors has increased, and that has implications. And can medicine still provide a reasonable standard of living to its practitioners? This again is a question we might have to think about. There has been issues of violence, attacks on doctors, abuse of doctors, all those things have also happened. Technology has very much come here. So today, as if you have to be a medical school faculty, you have to have some knowledge of technology. Without technology, it's very difficult to think about learning, because a lot of learning is closely related to technology. But this is the other challenges and accreditation systems. So whether our accreditation systems are keeping pace, because medicine is changing so rapidly, and maybe the next decade and the decade after that, it can change even more quickly. Can our accreditation keep pace with that? Economics, a lot of medical schools are private. I think even in Pakistan, there are many private medical schools. So these, are mainly for profit. And can these schools, generate enough resources? In medicine, it's still okay, but in other disciplines, like in engineering, especially in India, there are a lot of problems for them to get students and for the institutions to be financially viable. Shortage of faculty, I think this might be an issue even in Pakistan. It may be interesting to hear from you later. Political instability, political issues are a problem in many countries. Too many medical colleges, I'm not sure what's the situation in Pakistan, but many countries, because often politicians feel opening a medical college is enough to improve health. There are unfortunately in many countries, there has been a feeling, or this kind of ideas come that to improve health, open a medical college. That may not always be the solution. Finances and corporatization. Many colleges are run as corporate entities, and this can make many of us who have been trained in a more traditional system of medicine, focusing on patients, uneasy. Large class sizes. In many countries, you got huge class sizes, especially in Asia and South Asia. So what implications will these have on medical learning? So tomorrow's doctors, I think many of you may have read this document from the General Medical Council of the UK. It's an important document. I think it was published quite some years ago, looking at what skills doctors might need tomorrow for practice. And this one is today's children, tomorrow's doctors. And that's where we talked about the Generation Z and Generation Alpha. And we should be aware of their important characteristics so that we can tailor our education to their requirements. And metaverse, I think many of you may be knowing this metaverse, augmented reality, virtual reality. So medical training can take place in these situations also. And a lot of this technology is becoming cheaper, if you know that. Many of these, what you call the devices, are becoming cheaper. Technology is becoming cheaper and more accessible. So these were some of the references which I looked at. Future of health professions education, producing tomorrow's doctor. And tomorrow's doctors and diversity issues. So diversity is also a major issue. And future global role in healthcare. So a lot of doctors will migrate. A lot of doctors from Pakistan will migrate to other places. From other developing countries will migrate to more developed ones. So that again is a future global role. And then you've got the fiber accreditation and all those here. So I won't go into those are some things in the background. This is an article I wrote on artificial intelligence in health professions education. And this is the one where we explored readiness for interprofessional learning. And this one is on a flexible outcome evidence-based curriculum. What do faculty members think about this? I also examine learning space to promote active learning in health science programs. And this was an editorial I wrote for a journal from Nepal on how to empower medical students to address climate change in a potential high-impact country. So this was with specific relevance to Nepal, because data suggests that Nepal may be the fourth most impacted country by climate change due to its geographical and other situations. Even though Nepal has contributed very little to the emission of global greenhouse gases. So what we did, we explored future challenges for training tomorrow's professionals. We examined key drivers of change like technological advancement, demographic shifts, global challenges, and changes in patient expectations. The major issues we explored included climate change, artificial intelligence integration, aging populations, preparedness for pandemic, mental health issues, and precision medicine. We looked at how to redesign. I did not go into the details, but at least we touched on curriculum redesign, interdisciplinary education, AI literacy, and ethical decision making. Training methods which emphasize practical simulations, international collaboration, and personalized learning. Use of technology to support learning. So technology is becoming cheaper and it's becoming more widely accessible. So this is something we should be aware whenever we talk about technology, even in a developing country perspective. See, now we are not doing this through teams. So technology has come even into developing nations. But about removing things from the curriculum, so we're very happy adding things into the curriculum. Have we removed things from the curriculum? What things have been removed? Are we happy removing things, or do people feel, very possessive about things in the curriculum and feel that nothing should be removed? And then we have an overloaded curriculum. Adaptive, patient-centered approaches, robust mentorship. So how do we, all these are necessary to equip future doctors with the skills to address these challenges. So that's a summary of what I presented to you. So I end with a quote from William J. Mayo. Many of you may know him. He was one of the founders of the Mayo Clinic. So he said, the aim of medicine is to prevent disease and prolong life. The ideal of medicine is to eliminate the need of a physician. So if you have a population which is so healthy that they don't need a physician, that could be regarded as the ideal of medicine. Thank you so much for a patient here. We'll stop sharing then. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Ravi Shankar, and I would especially like to thank you for joining us all the way from Malaysia, taking out your time from your busy schedule. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Artificial intelligence is not a man versus machine saga. In fact, it's a man with machine synergy. So you all will agree that AI is a tool and not a threat. Let's welcome our third keynote speaker for today's session, Professor Dr. Sonia Ijaz Haider. She is a PhD in clinical education and a senior fellow of higher education in UK. She is also a program director in health professions education. Warmly welcome our next keynote speaker on the stage.
Right, Assalamu alaikum everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you here. Thank you very much to the organizers. First of all, I think I would like to congratulate Dr. Hudaybia and her entire team for organizing the first medical education conference at this university. So I think a big round of applause should be given to them. And with that, I'll just now continuing to my presentation for today, which is rethinking assessment in the age of artificial intelligence. And I'll be walking you towards some of the global practices and exploring innovations which are happening worldwide and leaving you with some thoughts about how we can, so perhaps I'm not visible enough. Right, Ji. I think everybody can see me now. I'm glad I can see you also. Right. So, and then I'll be just leaving you with some thoughts about what is it we can do in Pakistan and how. First of all, what is assessment? For all of you who have done certificate in health professions education and masters, I think you perhaps will be knowing it. But let's revisit it. The purpose of assessment, primarily, if you look at the existing literature, falls under the 4 domains: evaluating learners' knowledge and skills, ensuring competency in clinical practice, providing feedback for improvement, and lastly, but not the least, guiding the curricular decisions, which we really want to continuously update our curriculum according to the global standards. Now, what's the role of purpose of AI in assessment? We've been hearing it so much and so loud. Number one, it provides personalized feedback to the students. It helps in optimizing assessments, both formative and summative. We are able to analyze student performance, and what it does for us is it helps us to identify those students who need support and help us in giving them not only support but making them competent to the level we expect of them. And we are able to predict their future performance. So for example, if you enroll a student from year 1, wouldn't you be interested in seeing how that student performs in year 2, 3, 4, 5 across all the disciplines? And at the end of the day, you can advise to the student which specialty is better for you rather than jumping into one specialty, for example, medicine or surgery, and then wondering whether I was really fit for this specialty or not. But before we further talk about the role of AI in assessment, let's look at what are the existing challenges we are facing in assessment. Standardization, one of the biggest challenges. Believe me, in the past 20 years, I've been hearing just one thing: we need to standardize assessment for all. What I fail to understand and what I ask you to think through is, are we learning, are we all same? We all learn at different paces. So why do we need to assess everyone on one yard scale? Why can't learning and assessment be personalized to the needs of the student? Isn't what we have been hearing so far assessment for the sake of learning? One thought. Then we have problems with the grading processes. Now, when we are doing a grading, whether it's OSCE, whether it's clinical skills, what's happening is we are letting our personal biases enter despite whatever the rubrics are available there. So that's one other challenge we are facing. Feedback. Believe me, it's never timely. In fact, it's not only delayed, we need to make it ongoing, immediate. Then what's the purpose of giving a feedback? If you have done something on day 1 and you are telling the student, we'll talk about it on day 10, the purpose is lost. And that's one of the grave challenges we are facing. Then we have traditional methods which struggle to simulate the complex real-world emergency situations, trauma situations which occur in our day-to-day lives. We also have manual data entry problem. Now, that is not only labor-intensive, it is highly error-prone. So when we say, well, our assessment was 100%, I usually say, really? Are you so confident it was 100%? Because I can find faults where you wouldn't you even think about it. Another great thing in terms of a problem, longitudinal tracking of competencies is labor-intensive. So one of the universities where I visited, they said, we are doing a competency tracking, and I said, really, exactly how are you doing it? And they told me we're doing it through Excel and et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, they said, I'm wondering even it's worth doing it. So you see, these are some of the existing challenges we are having in assessment. And that's where AI can help us in terms of using appropriate tools. But first of all, we need to think exactly what do we want to assess. I think it's high time we as educators, as leaders decide what is it we are assessing, why are we assessing, and how are we assessing. We really need to redesign assessment in this upcoming age of AI. Otherwise, we will be left far behind the developed world. And when I say redesign, what I actually mean is create meaningful assessments which are authentic, experiential based, which are continuous, in other words, iterative. They have small chunks in them which students can do and they can be checked on a regular basis, which we call scaffolding assessment. And lastly, doing series of assessment and then accumulating the result rather than doing one holistic assessment and coming up with a result. That's what we really require. And what this does for us, for the students and the educators, they are able to learn during the assessment. See, the whole point is in learning. So we really need to rethink how we are helping them to learn rather than cramming them up and at the end of the day hoping and expecting that we are preparing competent doctors. Let me share with you some of the case studies to give you further examples what we can do. For example, in one course, students use free ChatGPT accounts where they brainstorm and write rough drafts. Now, as part of their assignments, students must submit transcripts of their conversations with ChatGPT as well as on reflections on how the process worked and whether the tool was helpful. Another example. Students are required to use ChatGPT to summarize a case. They add line-by-line comments about where they agree and disagree with the chatbot before making a final analysis. As an additional steps, students peer review each other's work. What is happening here? Anyone? What is happening here? Come on, I'm sharing with you two examples. What's happening here? Read it again. Anyone from the crowd? Be bold enough to answer. Come on. Sorry, can somebody give them the mic, please? Sorry, but I couldn't catch your few last words.
We are not using AI so far in our education system, and we are just starting and hearing AI use in medical education. This is the first conference, I think, of this size. So we are still in the starting point.
Right, okay. There was a hand raised from here. Thank you. Yes, please.
Students are self-analyzing and self-assessing themselves.
Thank you very much. Students are self-analyzing and assessing themselves. Learning is occurring during the process. Giving you another example. A tool such as GPT-4 records the chat histories between students and the application, including when and how students imported or rewrote the text. It tracks what prompts students used and how they uncovered and incorporated information. In other words, it provides proof of process. And this allows the teachers to see and explain to students where they might have gone wrong. So you as educators are able to provide them feedback by looking at the process, not only the final product. That's the crunch of my presentation. It's not the final product which we are now looking for in assessment. We are looking at the process. And you cannot stop the students from using the tools. In fact, you shouldn't. That's the biggest flaw we as educators can do. Let them use it And you as educators use those tools judiciously to assess whether they are learning to the level which is expected or not. And hence we are able to do both the formative assessments and at the end of the day, the final assessments as well. Now let's look at the global practices which we have integrating AI. First of all, as I talked about personalized learning and assessment, we have adaptive testing systems using AI to adjust the question difficulty level based on the level of the performance in real time, providing a personalized assessment experience. And for that, we have tools like ICOHPE, which is a computerized adaptive testing for medical education. We also have graduate record examinations to assess their knowledge and adapt in real time. We have AI-enhanced simulation-based assessments, and AI-powered virtual patients simulate real-world scenarios for clinical assessment. Students interact with them, take case histories, have a very strong interactive interaction with the virtual AI, and at the end of the day, they come up with a final plan. And the natural language processing analyzes the verbal and written interactions for competency, decision-making, and diagnostic accuracy. We heard one of the previous speakers talk about the radio image analysis, and at the end of the day, what we get is an objective assessment of the diagnostic skills, and it helps us because the logistic cost is reduced and we have a standable, scalable assessment available. We have enhanced feedback mechanisms. Now, AI tools like, for example, GradeScope analyze patterns in student errors and provide individualized feedback. We also have chatbots like ADA, which provide quizzes and scenarios for continuous evaluation. Longitudinal competency tracking, one of my favorites, and I am really a strong advocate for it because I want to see how my student is going to perform from day one right down to the day he exits the graduate school. And we have AI platforms like Amy, Compass Map, Brightspace to visualize student performance through and through. Not only that, it's able to mark the competencies and the milestones which are achieved, especially in the postgraduate residency training, where you want the students to achieve the entrustable professional activities equivalent to the milestones which we talk about. Automated grading systems are available through AI tools now. And we have, for example, the intelligent essay assessor, which can be used to evaluate medical students' written responses. We have other tools as well available on subscription. Depends, rates differ across. Reduction of bias. AI offers a very objective assessment by minimizing human biases. We identify we have that a lot when we are grading, and especially in subjective examinations such as the clinical skills and presentation. So that was just a snapshot actually of what we are having in terms of global practices integrating AI. There's much more which is happening, honestly. I wanted to share with you the study, Artificial Intelligence in Higher Education, the State of the Field. It's a systematic review which was done explicitly well. And I wanted to bring it to your attention because some of the findings which I'm going to share in just a minute. As you can see, the AI is literature, evidence in terms of it is literally progressing very much in Asia, which is 41%, followed by Europe, which is 30%, and then North America, 21%. We see a chronological trend increasing in AI in higher education, and as you can see, in 2019 there was a dip, but then in 2021 and 22 onwards, it's significantly on the rise. But what's particularly for me was very interesting to see was, if you look at assessment, see, automated assessment has a long list of what you can do when you're using these tools. It's not only marking of subjective questions or grading thesis, it's essay grading, free text critique, foreign language scoring, process and collaborative learning, students doing entrepreneurship projects together, the learning characteristics and cognitive engagement. along with obviously the generating items, feedback, review online activities. There's a lot which is happening when you use these two tools. And I particularly like predicting, and it's not only the academic performance and the project topics, it's about students we can identify who are going to be dropouts, who are going to be at risk. We are able to take satisfaction, career decision making, their innovative ability, and their overall personality as such. And we see when you use these different AI tools, you find different descriptive terms here. Virtual agent, virtual assistant, intelligent agent, helper, and all these AI tools are actually doing quite a lot in terms of not only performance, but effort in terms of regulating the performance of the student by giving them on-spot constant feedback, giving them hints, giving them out-of-class support, student outreach, scaffolding, persuasive intervention on what to do and what not to do. Sometimes I wonder at the end of the day, will our students be communicating more with these tutors rather with us as humans, Well, we have the same challenges as the previous, speakers have discussed. We have data privacy and security problems occurring. There is cost and infrastructure. But you know what? I don't think so we should let the cost be a barrier. See, I have found that when you look at these tools, there are such tools available which can be easily accessed by the institutions and countries even like us, Pakistan. They're not really so highly cost that we are unable to do so. But it depends what you really want at the end of the day as an institution and the stakeholders which we have. And of course, when you have a tool available, it's important to train the faculty. Whenever I go and talk to people about using AI in assessment, they come up with this expression, and I thought I'll capture it and share it with you. And it's a very, very nice one because it shows confusion. It shows the fact, oh my God, there's so much happening. So what are we supposed to do? At one end, there is high cost. On one end, we want to progress. What are we supposed to do? Well, the answer is very simple. It's not all complicated. I strongly believe the roadmap is related to context, relevance, and the application. So institutions like us in Pakistan need to think, what is it we want? Definitely we want an AI, right? You've identified this institutional need, but please ensure that your stakeholders are on board. It's not only the educators I'm talking about, your students as well. Maybe you as an institution may feel that you want to have an AI simulation SimMan model which costs about more than $1 million. But then why not, your faculty feels or your students feel, why not have something which is going to be providing us on-spot feedback, immediate feedback for our learning. Subscribe to that tool, which may cost you even 50,000 or even less, provided the number of months you have in which you want to subscribe. Try to gauge and understand the need here and the preference of your stakeholders. Definitely, thank you. Definitely, it's expensive, but then there are other tools in the market. Whatever your budget is, cater it accordingly. You don't have to go for something, in billions or millions. Try to think how you can address the baseline problem first rather than aiming for the bigger ones. Faculty training, I cannot emphasize enough. I have encountered people with a growth mindset. I've encountered people with a fixed mindset. You can't change them because of various reasons. I wouldn't go into that alley. But people are there with a growth mindset. Once you try, it's not everybody has closed doors policy, but keep on training. And at the end of the day, keep on planning and adjusting according to your needs. There will come a time when perhaps you may want to have the virtual reality simulator of billions and millions. But before that time, understand what the baseline needs are and how you can address them. So that's what I wanted to share with you for today. My future directions and recommendations, I think this is going to be a very good time where AI-driven peer assessment platforms will be there, and I'm a strong believer one learns from one at all stages of their life, whether you are an undergrad student or whether you are, at our age in CPD. We're going to have real-time feedback systems. For example, Osmosis is one of the app which is already in place, and it's really good. And I think it's time that we move towards interprofessional education as well, simulating all the complex interprofessional scenarios which are going to be there very soon. So this is going to be the future in terms of assessment. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Sonia Ejaz, for sharing your valuable insights with us. At the end of this first plenary session, since we've been hearing a lot of informative and engaging presentations since morning, so I assume there must be a lot of questions from the participants. So the forum is now open for discussions, and you all are encouraged to please direct your questions to our distinguished panelists.
Yes, madam.
Yes?
Professor Abdul Ghani Sumro. I have a question from Professor Mukhtar Beg.
Yes, sir.
Sir, you talked about artificial intelligence and you emphasized the different new equipments like the new invention like the stethoscope. And as far as I feel, this is a sort of innovation in the field of medicine rather than we can label it as a artificial intelligence, because this world has traveled from the phonogram, monogram and to the iPhone. So I can recall we have worked in the days when there was no ultrasound. And how can an artificial intelligence, for example, being a surgeon, how can I assess a patient with a lump to know the consistency, whether it is hard, soft? I think this, the clinical acumen, full clinical acumen cannot be totally transformed on the artificial intelligence, and this is rather than transforming your natural intelligence to artificial intelligence and to work for the persons who are innovating. So I need, and what about the medical legal impact of these things? Are this justified, or how medical legally they can be used? So if you can answer my question.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Actually, you have asked 3-4 questions. No problem. Please sit down, please. Number one, literature describes that whatever progress we will do in AI cannot replace the physician's hand touch. As you mentioned, you need to know the consistency of the lump or the tumor or anything. So AI cannot replace that. Yes. Number two, the stethoscope, the full name of the stethoscope is AI ECG enabled stethoscope, because they have used those tools in that stethoscope which will give ECG on your smartphone, and even you can check the ECG on the back of that stethoscope. So as they are using the technology in that stethoscope, so they have given the name AI ECG enabled stethoscope. This is the reason. Maybe you are right that we can say this is the innovation, but this is also the innovation.
Yes, but this is not artificial intelligence, because you mentioned about the history taking. The same chat is transformed into the words. How can a clinical finding can that be displayed on that, the conversation? I mean that.
Yes, that's why that text history has the option. After completing that history, that physician, surgeon, whatsoever, he can add his notes. After auscultation, palpitation, he can add his observation in that history. So it would be more comprehensive.
So
It has
then,
the option for this.
yeah. So then this physician need to add his notes, because
Yes,
AI
yes.
intelligence in this session is not the complete answer for the clinical knowledge and the clinical treatment for that patient. I thank you.
Yes, AI cannot completely replace physicians, but AI-oriented physicians are better than those who are not AI-oriented. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We now move to the shield distribution. May I request the Patron-in-Chief and our worthy Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Ikram-Din Ujjan, and the Chairman of the conference, Professor Dr. Munawar Alam Ansari, to please come forward to present the shields to our distinguished speakers. I would like to request our first speaker, Professor Dr. Mukhtiar Beg, to please come forward and receive his shield from our worthy distinguished guest. I may request our next speaker for today, Professor Dr. Sonia Ijaz, to please come forward and receive her shield. I may request the chair of this session, Professor Dr. Ranomal Piryani, to please come forward and receive his shield. I would like to call the co-chair, Professor Dr. Shazia Maiman, to please come on stage and receive her shield. I would now invite Secretary of Conference, Dr. Hudaybia Allah Baksh, to please come forward and receive her shield. Dr. Sana? Okay. I would now request our chairman of the conference, Professor Dr. Munawar Alam Ansari, to present the shield to our honorable worthy Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Ikram-Din Ujjan. May I invite Professor Dr. Seema Nisar Morai to please collect her shield. I would now request Chairman of Conference, Professor Dr. Munawar Alam Ansari, to present the shield to our Honorable worthy Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Ikram-Din Ujjan. Additionally, we have shields for our moderators as well. May I request the moderator for inaugural session, Dr. Rabia Anis, to kindly come forward and receive her shield. Lastly, I am humbled to receive a shield myself. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all our distinguished guests for gracing this stage and sharing their valuable insights. Ladies and gentlemen, now we will take a short tea break. Refreshments have been arranged outside in the garden. Please join us after 10 minutes so we can convene for the second session. Thank you so much.